Bonsoir aux partisans de football du Québec et de partout au pays. With the 5th pick in the 2025 CFL Draft, the Montreal Alouettes select Tiger Shanks, offensive lineman, UNLV. Winnipeg, you are on the clock.
This is a player with a very high ceiling, could play very early, a 4-year starter, 51 starts at the Division I FBS level at UNLV, and he gave up just 11 pressures in 410 pass pro attempts. That's pretty efficient, Dwayne.
Yeah, and I mean, Tiger Shanks is a guy who really stands out when you look at this particular offensive line class, and it's because of the number you mentioned. His career starts, right? I mean, this is a guy who has played over 50 games at the Division I level, starting at the tackle position in a class where you don't have anybody else who compares to that, quite frankly. And, you know, I mean, his background, his high school background, he's a young man who was born in Vancouver but raised in the U.S., so played all his high school and college football in the U.S., so sort of comes in with a resume similar to the American tackles we're seeing. I imagine he'll get an opportunity to compete at his natural position first, before sometimes there's that automatic tendency to want to move your Canadians inside. But this is a guy who could really help be a ratio buster at the tackle spot.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that there were some pretty intense discussions in the Alouettes war room or leading up to this, because you're sitting with Christopher Fortin there, who's from St. Rene, Quebec, and could immediately play at right guard for you, where typically the Alouettes have had a legendary French-Canadian offensive lineman, Christian Matt, retiring, and obviously at the other side you've got some great players as well. But I'm intrigued by this, not just because of the size of the man and the pedigree and all the rest, but in the era of the transfer portal and the NIL agreements and all the rest, and we got players in this draft that are 5 years, 5 different schools that are just moving all over the place. Tiger Shanks has an incredible life journey, as you say, from being born in Vancouver, going to China, settling down in Oregon, playing in Nevada, goes to one school, never transfers. Right? Like, plays those 51 games all in the same spot and finds comfort, and is the first offensive lineman as well in program history in over 20 years to be a first-team all-conference selection. So he's not just good at what he does. He's a pretty special player, and it looks like Montreal is going to go a little bit of a different direction with their offensive line here, Lapo. But I think it's an interesting pick.
What I loved about him is I thought the best thing he did was pass protect. He has long arms. He can bench press people off him, and you use the term playing long. Can this guy play long? What does that mean? Keep defenders off your body so you don't get thrown. He did that very well. I really think his feet, for 6'5", he can get out of situations like bad situations. What's a bad situation? It's not hanging out at 7-Eleven, Marshall, in the back area. It's when your feet get too close together as an offensive lineman. He's got the ability to move his feet and go. This guy, I think, competes as a tackle. I really think so. Like, he's patient as a pass protector. You know, he was a little inconsistent in the run game, but this guy's a really good football player. This is a great pick.
Yeah, and I think this really fits Montreal's roster. You mentioned Christian Matt having retired. Montreal bought some time because Christian Matt played so long. They had brought Philippe Gagnon back. He signs with Saskatchewan this year. But I go back to the COVID years, right? And during that time, Montreal lost a couple of high picks, young guys that were developing on their offensive line, Tyler Johnstone, Trey Rutherford, guys who had been high picks for them and were in that starting lineup. Johnstone, in fact, a starter at the tackle spot. They bought some time, as I said, with veteran guys, but needed to look offensive line. I think a lot of people anticipated it might be Fortin because of that Quebec connection. But the fact is, with Tiger Shanks available and the flexibility he maybe offers you, as you said, as a tackle, tough value to pass up.
Yeah, and you certainly, you know, my first question is who replaces Christian Matt? They got Jesse Gibbon, who's, you know, veteran in the league, and hasn't become a starter, but Cyril Hogan-Saint-Don came over from Ottawa. So they got a couple of guys who've got experience playing in there. This is just another really good player. Maybe he's inside, but maybe he's a two-player. He can play guard or tackle, and he's certainly a really good tackle.